So today I want to talk about some wild new details we just got about Phainon, and honestly, there's a lot more going on than I expected. If you're even a little curious about this character, you're going to want to stick around because what's coming is seriously next level. Or at least, that's what it looks like at first glance. Save up to 25% on the Castoris banner at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description. Now, one of the craziest things we've learned is about Phainon's technique. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Apparently, it's designed to instantly kill every enemy within its radius. Think Firefly's massive area of effect, combined with Acheron's instant kill mechanic. It sounds absolutely busted on paper, but fair warning, some early impressions are saying that while the concept is insane, the actual usefulness of the technique might feel a little clunky. Outside of simulated universe, it might not land quite as well as it sounds. Honestly, that's not too surprising. A lot of techniques in the game are more about flair than consistent value in regular gameplay. And speaking of flair, let's talk about the combat design. Phainon is confirmed to be physical destruction, which already has a lot of people hyped. We're all just waiting now for the official drip marketing to drop. Visually, the animations are decent. They're not jaw-dropping or anything, at least based on early looks. But they do have some really nice touches. You'll notice influences from Kephale, with feathers and powerful slashing motions baked into his sword attacks. It's stylish, even if individually, the effects might feel a bit mid when you look closely. If you're the kind of player who's all about big, dramatic flair, Phainon definitely has that larger-than-life vibe going for him. One thing that caught my eye is that Phainon will have at least 7 different combat actions. And honestly, that's just the minimum. There could be even more by the time we get the final version. The basic stance you'll see during normal combat uses the model we've already seen floating around, but he's equipped with the imposing Flame Reaver's sword, which looks seriously heavy and brutal. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. When you activate Phainon's ultimate, he actually transforms into something else, and during that state, he unlocks an entirely new set of skills. If you want a visual comparison for his skill, think about Mavuika's charged attack, where she uses a ring effect. Except for Phainon, it's swapped to a huge golden version of it, making everything feel even more massive. What's really breaking the mold here is how his controls work after his ultimate. Most characters just get a basic buff or a change in one ability, right? Well, with Phainon, after transforming, you'll actually see 3 skill buttons appear: Q, E, and X. That's not a typo. 3 active buttons all at once. This was first hinted by Galaxy's extra commentary and then posted by Luna, and to be fair, there's still some uncertainty about whether the X button is a true third skill or just a cancel option, like with Dan Heng, Imbibitor Lunae. But even with that in mind, it's clear Phainon's enhanced state is designed to feel way more dynamic than anything we've seen so far. Now let's be real for a second. A person named Luna who have seen early bits of gameplay are raising concerns. There's a possibility that despite all the flashy transformations and extra skills, the actual strength might not be as overwhelming as people are hoping. It could end up looking spectacular without hitting as hard as the visuals suggest. And yeah, the overall visual effects, while abundant, aren't necessarily on the level of, oh my god, best animation ever either. They're good, but not game-changing on their own. Another thing to keep in mind is team synergy. Right now, it looks like Phainon might launch without a perfect core teammate. Ceridra, who a lot of people expected to pair up with him, isn't necessarily a guaranteed match either. So if you're thinking about pulling for Phainon immediately, it might be smart to stay cautious and see how the meta shakes out. Solo units without strong synergies often feel way worse than they should, no matter how good their kits look on paper. And just so we're covering everything fairly, we still have no confirmation if Phainon is an emanator yet. It's a detail a lot of lore fans are hungry for, but nothing official has dropped as of now. Plus, there's some talk that Phainon's backstory might stir up some controversy when it's fully revealed. So, if you're sensitive to heated discussions in the community, just be ready. Opinions are probably going to be pretty split. But even with all that said, the bottom line? Hoyoverse clearly expects Phainon to be a huge seller. If they're aiming for S+ tier sales numbers, you can bet they're designing him to be at least competitive at a high level, even if there's a bit of early concern floating around. Sometimes the biggest units launch a little rough and get polished with later patches, but when the sales expectations are this high, it's usually a strong sign that they're aiming to make him broken enough to be worth the investment. So, what do you think? Are you planning to pull for Phainon right away? Or are you gonna wait and see how he feels in actual gameplay? Personally, I'm cautiously optimistic. The idea of a true form change unit with triple active skills sounds way too fun to ignore. I'm definitely keeping an eye on the drip marketing to see how it all evolves. Let me know what you're thinking down below, and if you found this interesting, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be covering even more updates as soon as they drop. Save up to 25% on the Castoris banner at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.